paper range that comes out that absolutely speaks to your soul. For me, this is it. I love everything about this paper. It's the Engine of the Future range from Ciao Bella. I love everything. So I decided to make a tab binding booklet to show you guys how to do tab binding. So I've cut some of the tags out and I'm making a very small booklet. So what I will do, and I've cut some ephemera out. So this paper is absolutely wonderful. It's all grungy, and if you love grunge, you will love everything about this. And also, you don't need to do much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink all around the edges, and I'm going to sew around every card because I need a bit more grunge. And of course, I want to add my own grunge and not just the paper, but just look at it. It's absolutely marvelous. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll be back. So all the hard work is done, all the prep. So I've distressed the edges with this tool, and I've inked all the edges. I've done some stitching, and I even took some of the ephemera that I cut out and did a bit of stitching, distressed the edges, and did the inking. So let's put that aside. Tab binding. Very easy. I used a piece of calico. What else do you guys call it? I'm not sure. So I used this in a effort to rust the fabric, to get rust onto the fabric with metal pieces. Wasn't a huge success. I'll just show you a bigger piece, which I'm also going to use. So there is some rust marks, which is cool. But anyway, I have this. Use what you have. So I cut it about, let's see, 2 centimeter strips. And then I cut it into smaller pieces of about 3 centimeters. So let's see. To start off, I've got this container here, and I'm using the dollar fabric glue. We're going to put some glue in here. I bought this, what do you call this? I'm not sure what you call this, but it works wonderful with the glue. And of course, when I'm on camera, I can never remember this. I'm just going to add some water to this to dilute it a bit. Maybe that was a bit too much, but let's see. I think we're okay. So, how this works. On your first page, you're going to start with 3 tabs. So I cut these, so I'll just, every one that I use, I'll just take some of this out so it looks a bit more worn and not so brand spanking new and straight. It's going to be 3 pieces. Not right at the top, and again, not right at the bottom. This is how we start. I think I need, let's take some kitchen towel or any piece of scrap paper that you have. Let's do it on here. That might just work a bit better. There we have it. Then I normally put the bottom one down. And that's how I can determine, maybe bring it down a bit, maybe it's a bit too high. There we go. I should have moved this one up also a bit. Then we can determine the middle. I do think I've diluted this too much. So I'm just going to add some glue here. Slightly better. Then I can determine the middle here and put the middle piece down. So what I always look at is there will be a piece in there and in here. So I'm trying just to even it out a bit. Alright, that's your first one. Then we turn it over and we take the next one. So you keep your bottom in mind. I try to, not exactly the same, but so I have a couple of pages, and the free, this one will only get 2 tabs. The ones with the free is not tags, because the tags is not exactly as high as the normal cards are. So I do the free tabs on the cards and the 2 tabs on the tags. A lot of confusing words here. So I put it next to this one, keep my bottom line straight, and I make sure I put these 2 tabs where they belong. That makes sense. There we are. Now I turn this over onto this tab, and I need to glue this down. So this one has a bit of a problem because there's a piece of it's a corner there, so no problem. I will just add some glue, not exactly in that corner, to the rest of the tab. And you bring it over. I've got the window open here by me, and there's quite a strong wind blowing, so I will close that now, otherwise you're going to listen to the noise of the window the whole time. I do find when you do this part, it is better to put the glue onto the card and not on the tab. I still think this glue is too much diluted. I think so. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put more glue in the middle here and not mix it in, but use that. That might be better. Of course, it's on camera, so it must be a bit of a struggle. Right, now we take the next one. So when you do this process, make sure your cards are right side up and not upside down. It can easily happen. So we take the next tabs, and I put the glue straight onto the paper. I love doing this binding method. To me, it's so rewarding to use fabric, and you make a book from fabric. I love it. There we go. Again, we turn this over, keep it in line on the sides and at the bottom, and we're going to glue those two down. There we go. Next one, put it down in line, take 2 tabs, and we glue them down. You can first decorate all the pages and then bind them. I like to bind them first because I want the fabric to sort of blend in with all the decorations. So instead of having a line there of fabric, it will be covered, some of them with ephemera or whatever you decide to do. Now we're at the last one. We're not going to put any tabs on here. What we're going to do, we're going to turn it over as if there are tabs on there, and we're going to glue down these 3 tabs. here we are. Let's give it a time to dry. The booklet is nice and dry, well, dry enough, not completely dry. So what I normally do is I open it up like this in the form of a star, and I leave it to dry like that to make sure the pages don't stick together. So what I really like about this binding method is how flat it is. So there's your spine, a bit wonky, but it's handmade. I love how nice and flat it lies. You can see it's really easy to work with, and I love the fact that it's so flat. So now we can start building these pages. I want to do a few flips. I've prepared some tags that I've already stitched that I want to make little flip outs, and I want to do one at the front. And I think I will also glue them down, these flip out pages, of the same strips, material strips. And I just want to see, I've done a few ephemera pieces. So let's start by putting some glue. This time I'm not going to dilute it with water. I'm just going to leave it as it is. It's just easier to use for the fabric pieces. So I'm thinking, what am I going to put at the front? Let's start with this one. I like this idea, but it's covering so much. So let's see, maybe half of this. That. Yeah, I think that will work. I think this is also time to use my art letter glue. Let's see which one of these tags will work at the front. I think maybe this one. No. I think I want to add this to the front. So I want it to flip out like that. So I'm just going to glue down 2 small strips. There we go. I do like that. So we have one flip out there. On this page, I would like to add something like this. We can now slowly build the pages up to what we want it to be. This will be another flip out idea. I think I will do a flip out at least on every page. some decoration in this little booklet. So and I want to end the last page with a little notepad. So what I normally do is I just glue these pages lightly together. I told you before, if you've seen some of my other videos, this is an absolute animal house. You will hear dogs barking. You might hear Lady Lila the cat. You will definitely hear Noombi the bird. So that's just what it is. It is completely finished. I'm very happy with the final product. Again, this paper is just magic. You don't have to do much. I just added a few personal touches because I still want to make this project mine. So I will just do a silent flip through. Enjoy, and I hope you're inspired to do something similar.